Awesome. I'm glad you like that. I will be sending you the links to these some of these videos which I've been able to find and really learn a lot. To recap, actually, that this um, tells us at a very fundamental level that Shrutis are not subject to change. They were Apaurishaya, they come to us, they are the content. The Smritis are a larger body of writings, but every writing has an author, right? And so what are these categories? So at the very least, if we hear something that bothers us, that is maybe okay. So maybe there's something written somewhere which discriminates, let's say, against women. Let's just say theoretically. I haven't read all these, but I'm just saying, just knowing that the Shrutis are different from the Smritis, and the Shrutis themselves only refer to the consciousness principle that is present not just in living beings, but also in non-living things. So why would there be any discrimination in such an outlook? So we can always take comfort in the fact that the Shrutis are consistent and there is no and these don't change, and these are not colored by any author's outlook. So on the other hand, we have these smrutis, which also are necessary. As we said, the Vedas are very difficult to understand. So these very wise rishis took it upon themselves to really reflect. And even though they didn't live in the modern world like us, they were able to write things in such a way that are relevant to us. Mostly, for example, the Itihasa, Ramayana, Mahabharata, we know that the Ramayana is authored by sage Valmiki, Mahabharata by Maharshi Vedavyasa, and the Bhagavad Gita. These are all Itihasas. Itihasa meaning these happened. And we have so many lessons in there, not just this. We all love these stories because they have human interest and also explanations that we look for. Vedangas, which they didn't mention, I think, in this are Siksha, Vyakarana, Chandas, Nirukta, Jyotish, Kalpa. These are all related to writing. Vyakarana is grammar. I think Siksha is something called prosody. Chandas is the meter. Nirukta, etymology. Jyotish is astronomy, we know that. And all these things, it's just mind-boggling that all these subjects were included in all these writings. The Puranas were Ashtadasa, mainly 18 in number. We come across these also a lot. I'm trying to go faster. We have also talked about the Shad Darshanas, or the six darshanas: Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras are the most. They're just one line commandments, and again they're very terse. So there is a huge body of commentaries written on all these things for our benefit. But I think we can move on from this topic of scripture. See, even the word Shastra doesn't exactly correspond to Hindu scriptures, because of Shastras is just one aspect under the Smritis. Because the Shastras, like he said, the Dharma Shastra, and which refers to Manu Smriti and Yajnavalkya Smriti, those are no longer very relevant, is what he said. But at least we see that there are changes that can come about to make things more relevant for us in this thing without actually changing the content of the Shrutis. Anyway, I hope that brought something. I'll share the link. Also wanted to look at this concept of yajna, which he brought up, the person who presented that video. So one of the things that we set out to do as a student of Vedanta is to learn more about like how we function, to look at ourselves and see, understand ourselves better. So we talked about many of these things. it turns out that we are a spiritual being having a human experience. And so everything that we come across is actually an experience. When you think about that, when you think of things like that, you automatically take a step back, right? Everything that happens to us, we tend to become so, take it personally, get affected by it, develop deep attachments to people, and then get hurt by their by things so easily. These are the things that happen to us, right? And then whether it's the society out there or whether it's interpersonal things. So when we step back and say, okay, I'm just a human, I'm having a human experience. I'm in the world of objects and emotions and thoughts. So this is how Swami Chinmayananda has presented this chart. I have again provided a link to his discourse on this particular topic, the BMI chart. For this, for today's purpose, it suffices to like quickly give a overview, which is when we look at the body, it is the window through which we interact with the world. Like there are 5 senses, and these 5 senses are ears, eyes, nose, taste, and touch. These are the only 6 categories through which we receive inputs from outside. And it's like just mind-boggling how they've systematized things like that. If you look at a laptop or the laptop can only receive things from your keyboard, from you typing something on a keyboard, or maybe a mouse, by moving a mouse. That's how it receives its input. And maybe there are some more things like, I don't know, joystick and things like that, but you get the idea that these are the input mechanisms for the laptop. Similarly, for us, the input mechanisms are what we see, what we hear, smell, touch, and what we taste. These are the 5 things. These are the organs of perception. So the body undergoes its experiences in the world of objects through as a perceiver. And there's this mental realm, the mind, which operates in the field of emotions. It's a feeler. It is the one that puts some kind of context around our experiences. Maybe, we love somebody, and maybe the feeling of love is the one that comes in the mind. Or maybe we just get annoyed by someone else, that kind of thing. All of these feelings in the world of emotions is how the mental personality acts. The intellect, both the mind and the intellect are a flow of thoughts, but the intellect is really different because it is the one that knows how to balance, and it has a discriminative power, which knows how to rationalize things more than a mind can. Mind is purely driven by emotions. Every one of us gathers experiences through this equipment. World of objects, the physical body perceives through senses. The field of emotions we feel through the mind, and the realm of thoughts is the intellect. So we're all acting according to those. We said that there are 4 goals. We have dharma, purushartha, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Whatever it is, whatever prompts us to act. There is when we set out without much refinement, then we usually get stuck with attachments, and those attachments cause a lot of agony also. We know this, we've seen this. This is what the movies are all about. And the things that it has been analyzed very solidly by our scriptures, saying that if you look at the world, and it consists of articles, beings, and circumstances. So that's how, for example, one of our teachers in Chinmaya Mission likes to think of this. Whatever we're interacting is either an item, or a person, or some situation which we are going through. Now, We also think of peace, security, and bliss as being somewhere out there, as something that, maybe we can learn to get a glimpse of this sometime. We take in the inputs that we receive through our organs of perception. We apply our mind on them, like our personal likes, dislikes. And there's always something in the back of our mind saying, something is missing, or I don't know, I'm restless, I'm anxious. This happens a lot. And then there's this expectations we have from other people, which sometimes, which don't get, which is impossible. If you think about it, when these expectations are sometimes so silly, we know it, but we still continue to have expectations from other people. Why is that happening? If we can analyze that, then we can get a glimpse into being free from this kind of expectation. And they're suggesting that the sadhanas that are prescribed are the ways to rehabilitate our personality.